How do you decide what you do? Do you have a filter? If so, how do you decide? Let me give you a filter of the things you should do and consider doing. In my case, again, every advice is context specific, but in people who are like me, who have similar goals, this is a filter you should have in mind when you're trying to decide what you do. In general, and you can leave the video after you listen to the sentence, in general, you should do things that have greater outputs than your inputs. What does this mean? Let me give you two examples. We have Ben and we have James. Ben, he is interested in making money. So over the summer, school is over, so he goes and gets a job in the local supermarket. Nothing wrong with that. Great, he's making money, he's gonna have money, and he's working. Why not? Great. But his returns are going to be exactly proportional to the hours he works. So for example, if he works 10 hours, he's gonna get 10 hours of output, which is the money. So 10 hours times 10, he's gonna get $100 of work. And that's a linear thing, that's a linear activity that you should do. But sometimes you may have to get a job, and that's totally fine. But sometimes you have the opportunity to decide and do things a little differently. And this is when you use this filter. And this is when you do things that have greater outputs than your inputs. Which means that the amount of works and hours that you do, the returns you will get will be exponentially greater than your inputs. How can you do this? Let me give you a few examples. And of course, the examples that I'm going to tell you are not important. What matters is that you understand the principles of what I'm saying. That to make something more, it doesn't cost you more. So there are not marginal returns. To make something, one more of something doesn't cost you more to make one. And that's where you get the marginal returns, and then you get the exponential returns. So let me give you a couple of examples that I have here. So that you can call the high leverage activities. So I'm talking about a few examples that might serve as inspiration. Number one, starting a YouTube channel. You might not make a lot of money in the beginning, but the benefits of that is that for one person to watch a video, if one person watches the video, it's not going to cost you any more when 100 million people watches the video, or 10 or 100. And then what's also really interesting is that you don't have to be there for people to watch the videos. You just there, people anywhere in the world at any time can watch the videos. The same is for when you have a podcast. When you have a podcast, anyone can be listening to your episodes without you having to be there. The other one that I think is interesting is writing online, having a blog or writing essays, because same idea, you don't have to be there to be there and to make and read the essays to people. People can just go there, read it. You don't have to be there personally, and people anywhere at any time can read it. And lastly, I think the most powerful one is code, programming. And it's one of the most powerful because when you write the code, of course you want to keep writing it and improving it. But when you have the code, that code that you have, whether it's for a video game or a business or a platform, whatever it might be, when you have the code, it's there. It's working for you. You don't have to be there, and people can come and use your products and businesses or video games, and they're working for you. And for one person to use it, it doesn't cost you anymore when people 10 or 20 people use it. Of course, you have to pay for servers and so on, but it's in a simplified version. That's literally what it is. So next time you're trying to think of what to do, or what to do, or where to do it, or how to do it, do things that have greater returns. Do things that have greater outputs than your inputs. And always look for the exponential returns of things instead of just trying to do things because, well, that's what you're supposed to do, because time is limited. And like the Latin phrase, memento mori, remember you will die. So what you will do, it's limited. You can do anything, but not everything. So sometimes working in the local supermarket is really hard and it's tiring. And maybe learning a programming language and building the next Facebook, for instance, is not as it might be about the same effort, and you may even like it more. So next time you're thinking about what you do, think about the exponential returns of what you're doing. Good luck.